Bet from Bet's Makes, and today we're going to be making a chestnut wreath. This is such a fun project. I have the sample that we made yesterday. It is so cool. You see all the chestnut, there's about 100 chestnuts here and a nice bow at the back. It's a little bit heavy, and of course there's a string here to hold it in place. But this is such a gorgeous project, and we're going to have a lot of fun making this. So you don't need a lot of materials with this particular project. Like I mentioned before, you can have 100 chestnuts. You might want to gather a few more. It's really surprising how many chestnuts are used in this project, and you don't put any on the back either. So it's just all on the front for the display. So 100 chestnuts. Now, one of the things you might consider is when you are gathering chestnuts out in the yard, or you find them somewhere, you can even buy them in a bag. Try and get a number of them with a flat surface on the back, because that flat surface is much easier to glue onto the frame. Speaking of frames, you're going to need a wreath frame, but you can make your own. Now, I bought this one at the dollar store for $3. It already had the ribbon on the top for hanging it. So all I had to do was glue my chestnuts and add my bow at the bottom. It's fairly light, and it was $3 at the dollar store. Now, one of the things is that if you have purchased one of these and it doesn't come with a ribbon, you're going to have to get your own ribbon there. Now, you're also going to need a hot glue gun to put the chestnuts on. I tried a number of things to put those chestnuts on, all kinds of glues, and I found that the hot glue was the only thing that made them stick. Now, when you're using the hot glue with the chestnuts, I just want to remind you that you apply a big blob of the glue on the back of the chestnut and then apply it to the wreath, and it will stay in place. Now, with the hot glue gun, you're going to want to make sure that you have at least 10 of the sticks available. I was going through them one at a time, and I thought I was going to run out, but I found I used approximately 10. I had one left in the package, one or two left in the package when I was completed with the hot glue gun. Because you want big globs of glue when you're making this. You want to make sure those chestnuts are not going to fall off. And of course, beyond that, the ribbon for tying, which we've already discussed. And that was the ribbon. This one came with it, but you would just want to add your own ribbon. This one is fairly thin. I would say it's approximately 1/2 inch wide, and it works really well. So that's the ribbon for the top. Now, you're going to use burlap for the bow. I have a sample. I bought this wide burlap also at the dollar store for approximately $3. And I thought it would be a nice wide bow on our project. And once again, I'll just lift this up. I'm going to be very careful. I don't want to lose anything off of it. So this is what I did for the bow, and it's a nice big one, but you could do something smaller if you wished. And you have other materials you're going to use for this as well. So I also added some of this beautiful clear ribbon to tie it in the middle. Now, there's no template for this particular project, but don't forget to go to betsmakes.com library and sign up. And I will give you the password to get into my resources library, and you'll be able to get all kinds of downloads for all the projects that I've been doing. And of course, one last thing, I want to make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe, and we'll get going on our project. Well, today we're going to be making a wreath, and this wreath, I bought these wreath parts with the wicker from the dollar store. I think I bought it for $2. And then I bought some burlap that I'm going to use for the bow, such as the bow I have right here. And that was $3. And then another $1.25 for this chiffon type ribbon that goes around the center. One other thing you need to be aware of when you have your wicker, you want to tie a ribbon around here so that you'll be hanging it, and I put it on ahead of time because it's going to be a lot easier to hang it and get it in place if you don't already have your chestnuts. And of course, you need a bag of chestnuts. I have my glue gun, and with my glue gun I'm going to use about 3 or 4 sticks of glue with this glue gun. So I want a strong glue. I tried a couple of other ways to glue it with some wood glue, but it didn't work very well. But what I'm finding now, if I'm going to be gluing something onto this, and we're going to go all the way around, but not on the back, but in the front and the inside, if I take the chestnut itself and apply the glue to the chestnut rather than to the wood, you'll be able to sneak it in there and make it work a lot better. I want to find a flatter one. There's one that's pretty flat on the edge. All I'm going to do here is apply a nice big blob of glue. And I'm going to place this one over here, if you can see it. I see there's a piece of wood here. So I'm going to glue it on there. I'm going to have to hold it in place for a moment or two until it holds. And then I'll just let it sit. And then I'm going to continue to glue all the way around. And when we're finished gluing this part on, then I'm going to show you a couple of more pieces that you can do by creating this bow, adding it as a decoration, finishing off the edges. So we'll be right back once we've got all of this glued on. Remember, you're going to be using your glue gun with some glue sticks. You need to gather lots of chestnuts. I gathered 300 or so, but I know we're probably only going to use 50 or 60 for this particular project, so you can be looking for them with no cracks in them, because a lot of them will crack because they fell on the ground. There's another nice flat one that I will apply in the next spot. And you see this one I just put on now, it's pretty solid. I just don't want to move it around too much. So I will be right back once we've got everything glued together, and let's have some fun doing this. Well, now I have all of these chestnuts glued on, and you'll see that here is the strap. So when I go to hang it, it'll hang by the strap. Now our next step here, just make sure everything is dry, is to create a bow. Now I'm just going to set this aside for a second. And I'm going to undo what I did here. So what I have here is a 12-inch or so piece of my chiffon fabric. This one happens to be green. And then I also have a length of the burlap that I mentioned before, and it is just over 36 inches. Now this is the burlap piece that I mentioned before. I got it at the dollar store. It just comes in a long roll. And the chiffon piece, same thing, long roll, also from the dollar store. And this one, as you can see here, was $1.25. The burlap was $3. Now you're not actually going to tie a knot here in the burlap. What you're going to do is you're going to bring it together so that you have your ends approximately the same size. Just going to bring it down and then bring it together this way without tying it, because we're going to use our green strip here for the tying. Now that looks pretty good. All I'm going to do here now is pull this together with the green strip. Just bring it up here. And I am going to tie it. You can do it a different way if you prefer, but I like to tie it together just like this. And I know the ends here will be frayed, but we can add a little trim to that at the end. Now, all you want to do is turn it around, and I'm going to bring this back, and it's approximately halfway down. I'm going to move one of the chiffons there, and I'm going to bring this up. And we're going to tie it in behind. So I'm just going to make sure that it's up on the top here. I'm going to have to flip it over. You'll notice on the back, we don't have any of the chestnuts on the back. A good reason for that is so it'll hang easier on the door. And then all I'm going to do is tie this piece together. Tie it pretty strong, so it's easy to remove later. We just tie it into place, and now when I flip it over, we have this beautiful, beautiful wreath made from chestnuts, a little bit of burlap, a little bit of chiffon, and a lot of glue. So I really hope you enjoyed this. This was a fun project to put together. Very simple, doesn't take a lot. It did take, I had this package of 10 glue sticks, I used 8. So it does take a lot of those glue sticks, but the results are amazing. And it's not so big that it will be so heavy. And then I will spend some time just cleaning up the little edges where it's got some things sticking out. And we're perfectly ready to go. This is a perfect Thanksgiving or Halloween wreath. Well, I hope you had a lot of fun making this gorgeous wreath. They're fairly heavy, but they're pretty sturdy. I have this one going to be hanging out on my front door. And I just love it, especially with the bow at the bottom. Now you could add the bow to the top if you want, or you could use your Cricut to cut something out to make it gorgeous. You can add little flowers in between. All kinds of embellishments you can make. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. So just one last thing. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And happy crafting.